Welcome to this week's Property Elite podcast. Stay tuned each week for industry hot topics, market updates, and new RICS guidance. The Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors has published the fourth edition of its Sustainability and ESG in Commercial Property Valuation Professional Standard, and this is effective from the 30th of April 2026. The aim of the professional standard is to help valuers of commercial property to incorporate ESG and sustainability issues into their client advice. This moves the requirement from being a nice to have to a mandatory requirement in all commercial property valuations. The guidance is globally applicable, although it includes specific guidance for valuers in the UK, Europe and Australia. Embedding ESG. ESG is a natural progression from corporate social responsibility, CSR, and reflects an increasing requirement from financial institutions and investors for ESG factors to be reflected in decision-making and performance metrics. It is also partly a response to COP26 and the UK government's 2050 net zero carbon target, as well as helping to build resilient, future-proofed investments. The professional standard includes two key definitions. Number one, ESG, as per the International Valuation Standards definition, is the criteria that together establish the framework for assessing the impact of the sustainability, ethical practices, financial performance and operations of a company, asset or liability. ESG comprises three pillars: environmental, social and governance, each of which may impact performance and the wider markets and society. Number two, sustainability. Carrying out activities without depleting resources or having harmful impacts. It includes matters such as, but not restricted to, environment and climate change, health and well-being, and personal and collective responsibility that can or do impact valuation. ESG is defined as the assessment tool and framework for valuers, where sustainability is the goal or outcome. The professional standard sits alongside the RICS Valuation Global Standards Red Book 2025. The Red Book provides procedural guidance and requirements for RICS regulated firms and members, registered valuers in particular. ESG is built into valuation guidance throughout the Red Book, including experience, terms of engagement, inspection, investigations and recording, reporting, and valuation specifics. IVS, which underlines the Red Book, requires that the impact of significant ESG factors should be considered in determining the value of an asset. ESG factors and the ESG regulatory environment should be considered in valuations to the extent that they are measurable and would be considered reasonable by the valuer applying professional judgment. Market impact. The key challenge relating to ESG and valuation is the balance of current market value and future risk. The valuer needs to be aware of significant ESG factors, i.e. those which have a material impact and should be actively priced by the market, and they should be able to comment on their relationship with the market evidence and impact on the market they are valuing within. This requires an appreciation of and application of professional skepticism to how ESG factors affect the willing buyer and seller within a transaction under the definition of market value. This is different to the impact on a specific buyer or seller, i.e. investment value. Examples could be where sustainability features, for example high efficiency HVAC, are priced into a higher rent or low vacancy rent assumption. Green lease clauses could also impact on pricing in the open market. ESG factors will affect the price or rent agreed in any comparable evidence, such as any certifications or refurbishment cost planning, for example the cost of compliance with the minimum energy efficiency standard. Where costs are factored into a valuation, they should be provided by qualified individuals, such as a chartered quantity surveyor. If an index or software is used instead, then the limitations of this should be explicitly stated. How any physical, e.g. flooding or transition risks, e.g. the move towards a low carbon economy, impact on value. Risk of this nature, known as resilience, could be commented on through the use of official maps and specialist reports. The risk could then be analysed using a simple red, amber, green rating system or a SWOT analysis, identifying internal strengths and weaknesses, along with external opportunities and threats, to help highlight key ESG risks and rewards in the valuation process. Valuers can incorporate the impact of ESG into their valuations in a variety of different ways. This could be an adjustment of the comparable evidence, rents and yields, to account for ESG benefits, rental growth assumptions or brown discounts. These are for properties that are non-compliant or have poor ESG credentials. Valuers should also comment on key performance indicators for environment, like water usage and biodiversity net gain. Social, they can comment on indoor air quality and community impact, and governance, green lease causes in valuations. A full list of these factors is provided in the RICS guidance on their website. Thanks for listening to this week's Property Elite podcast. Head to our website to check out the full blog, and here you will find free and paid support resources and services. We offer a free consultation for every single RICS APC and Associate RICS candidate, or you can ask us any questions you have via the online chat. See you next week.